Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we are building this rec center in The Sims 4. If you don't know, I am doing a Let's Play right now in The Sims 4 with the new Growing Together expansion pack, and within that Let's Play we are doing kind of like a decades challenge or a mini decades challenge where we're starting off in the 90s with our Sims, and then as we get older, have kids, and expand our family, we're kind of changing the world around them to match what the time period is now. So because of that, I did build this rec center in the style of like the 90s, and so it was pretty fun to kind of set that up. I did go with kind of like a funky shape because I looked up a lot of rec centers online before I started doing this, and a lot of them had kind of like fun shapes with courtyards and stuff, so I kind of wanted to match that. And then there's kind of 3 points on the building itself, and each of them I made into kind of like a wing. So we have like the arts and music wing, there's like the library wing, and there's like a sports wing as well. So it's pretty cool. One thing I knew for sure that I wanted in here was a community pool, because I feel like this world has like a splash pad area, but it doesn't have a pool, and I do feel like a pool kind of fits into a rec center, like an indoor pool. I feel like it just really works for a rec center vibe. So I have a whole like backstory on this pool area that I just kind of like created in my head while I was building it. But basically I'm thinking like there is a sports team or a swimming team for the community for like the kids, you know? We're gonna call them like the San Sequoia Salmons or something, because I think that's like really silly. And they have their swim meets like at this rec center pool. And imagine there's like a rivalry between like, you know, the San Sequoia Salmons and maybe like the Willow Creek Whales or something, you know what I mean? Like they're having a whole ass like rivalry going on, and like imagine all the different towns are just like really into it. I might even actually in the Let's Play like be on the swim team, because I'm pretty sure there's a mod that creates like new after school activities and stuff, and I'm pretty sure one of them is a swim team and they have to like try out and stuff, and I think that could actually be really fun, so I'm thinking about actually doing that. But anyways, that's why there's like bleachers in the pool area, because in my head they're having like swim meets like every weekend or something, and they're just like having it happen all the time. So yeah. Also I put a bunch of atriums on top of all of the different sort of towers of the building, because I was like, you know what, we need natural light, and that's what I went with. And also it's kind of a funner roof than just like a regular roof, you know? So, and I feel like more like public buildings like this have atriums and stuff rather than just like regular roofs. So that's what we went with for the roof. And then I did end up making everything kind of like brown, because I was like, it's the 90s, we stand brown in the 90s. See, look how much nicer it looks in here with this natural light. Isn't it just beautiful? I love it. And then the bleachers did have to be adjusted, because I realized like they probably couldn't really get to it, and we probably want like a middle walkway. And then this is the part of the video where things get weird, as I try to put in like a little walkway for like to grab towels and stuff when you walk in. So don't mind this. Yeah, don't worry about it. It's fine. Also, does anyone else think that the placement of the front of this lot is like kind of odd? It like wasn't where I expected it to be, so I don't know. I have no idea why it's like that. Did any of you guys actually have like community indoor pools where you live? Because I did not personally. I grew up in Texas, so everything was just outdoor because it was like hot enough to have outdoor pools. But I imagine probably where it's not that hot a lot of the times, you probably have like indoor pools more so. Because that's like the vibe I was going for here, was like a community indoor pool, but I didn't have a whole lot of reference because I didn't really grow up with that being a thing, so I don't know. But I did go with like the full floor to ceiling of the same tile, because that just felt right, not only for the indoor community pool but also specifically for the 90s community pool. It's it, you know? And then of course we put the vents or like the grates just all the way around the entire sides of the pool, because you need that so you don't flood your pool room. This was a nightmare to do. Do not mind the hay bales, they are there for reference. I wanted to put these like flags across the pool, and I just like, it was a nightmare. I would not recommend it to anybody, but we got it done in the end, so it all worked out. And see the little fishes on there? That's for the San Sequoia Salmons. In my head, that's what's happening here. And look at all, they have their little trophies, like all the times that they won. They beat the Willow Creek Whales, you know? Like, I mean, they're just like, they're thriving. Obviously, it looks like there are a few years where they have lost and they did not get a trophy, but all in all, like, things are really picking back up for the San Sequoia Salmons, and I feel like I'm really on their side now, and I really want them to win. So that's what's happening in my head, like, as I'm building this, is like this entire lore of what's going on in the town, you know what I mean? And I put just like some pipes on the wall. It felt right for a pool, I guess. I don't know. Like imagine they're like pumping the water and stuff, and there's like a giant air vent, so it's not too like humid in the pool area. That's what you're seeing here. That's a giant air vent, so don't worry about that. Okay, so we've moved on here to the next part of the sports wing of the building, which is the basketball court. I am using this now as like a PSA to all of you to just maybe go ahead and don't use diagonal walls or diagonal rooms in The Sims, because literally look at what is happening right now. Like this was literally such a nightmare. I have no words to describe how confused and angry I was trying to build this. It was the worst thing I've ever done. But you know what? We got there in the end and we managed, and here is the basketball court in all its glory. I am thinking too, like maybe there should be a basketball team for the San Sequoia kids as well as the swim team, because you know they could have like after school activities as a basketball team too. And I did put like the benches for the team, so if you're having like a game, you know, you have your people on the bench and then the people playing, and you like switch them out and stuff. So they could play games here theoretically, and maybe they should be a team as well. I don't know if they'd be the San Sequoia Salmons, because that sounds very like swim centric, but you know, they could be a team too. Okay, this may be my favorite part of the entire build. My best friend was with me while I was building this rec center, and this was her idea, so shout out to you for giving me like this idea, because this was like the best thing ever and I love it so much. But putting these basketballs into the laundry carts to make it look like it's the ball cart that all the basketballs stay in. If you've ever been on a basketball team or like a sports team in general, you know that there's these carts of just like all the balls that they just like roll around, and like it looks exactly like this, and I literally love it so much. So thank you for this idea. It is probably my favorite part of this entire building, so thank you very much. I was on the basketball team in both middle school and high school, and for one season on like an after school team or like over the summer or something. So this is giving me like all the nostalgia of just like the community basketball court vibe, you know what I mean? And then I did put, these are very, very sized up cutting boards, if you can't tell. I was trying to recreate, you know how in basketball courts they have those like foam pads behind the goal, so if you like overshoot the runway when you're running, you like don't run into a brick wall, you run into like a foam pad. But there really wasn't much that was like the right thing for that, so they're sized up cutting boards. Don't worry about it. I did end up changing the color as well, because I decided the red and black theme was a lot more like 2010s and I wanted it to be more like 90s. So I did switch it to being like yellow, white, and blue, which felt a lot more bright and a lot more on theme for what we were trying to do here. I think I talked about this in my last build video, but I just really hate building stairs in The Sims. I don't know why it's so hard. I just feel like it could be easier, but it's just not. And I really take issue with it, and it makes me sad. But I did manage to build this very grand entrance. And now we're moving on to the music wing. This one is very fun. So I built some like practice rooms on the side there, and then this is like a main room that has like a stage. So when they have their like performances, they come here and they do like their little performances and stuff. Basically, this entire time as I was building this, I was creating an entire story in my head, and I did end up doing the building very much like focused on what the kids would be doing and like after school activities and stuff like that, and it kind of ended up being a lot more like kid-centric than maybe it needed to be, but that's where we landed. I guess I was just imagining like all of the different after-school activities that the kids would do in San Sequoia would basically happen at the rec center, because it's just kind of like an all family place, but mostly I feel like kids and like youth would be using it. I don't know, maybe not. I guess that's maybe like not the point of the rec center, but that's where my brain went when I thought of it. So, and because it was the 90s, like I was really theming this particular space after those like fun centers that you saw in like the 90s and like early 2000s that were just like, we like loved primary colors. Like it was just like the primary colors are like all that we need, and that's just like what we're doing. So that is the theme here. I did end up using a little bit of custom content, like this carpet that's in here is like an arcade carpet that I found, and I did also find some like other 90s and like early 2000s themed custom content items. So those are in here. If you do download this off the gallery, it may have to replace those, or you may have to just like get the custom content too. If you're playing in like the 90s theme, then you maybe want it, I don't know. But yeah, it's there's a little bit in here, but it's mostly fine. It's hardly any. And then this is a little like locker room where I'm imagining they can like store their instruments, you know, when they go to like, they go for their like music lessons and then they like store their instruments there when they're not here and stuff. So it's cute. It's cute. I love it. It's great. And now I'm just setting up this little courtyard area and this like patio that is going to be the outdoor seating for what is going to be like a cafeteria that's inside in the middle here. So people can come get some food and then they can come out and eat on the patio and just like hang out and eat their food and have a good day. You know what I mean? When I was actually building this and recording this video, I lost a little bit of footage because I guess I like didn't hit record at some point. Yikes, sorry. But I did add these 2 extra like atriums. So now there's an atrium on each of the different wings of the building. So it's Atrium City out here. And you know what? They're super cute. We've got a ton of natural light. We're looking good. It is amazing. I'm trying to think if the city that I grew up in had a rec center. I feel like maybe it did and I just like never went to it, but I feel like it must, right? But I don't think I ever visited it. It was like not something that was on my mind. Like I said, we had our like outdoor pools that were like community pools, and I was just on like sports teams at school and stuff, so I never had a reason to go to like the actual rec center. Assuming there is one, I'm not actually entirely sure, but I'm kind of feeling like there must have been because it seems like something that like a lot of cities have, maybe. I don't know. I don't actually think I know much about rec centers. Please inform me if you are aware. Okay, back to building. Sorry, I got distracted. This is a little towel room that I set up for people. You know, you come out of the locker room, you grab your towel, and then you go out into the pool area. And then when you come back into the locker room, you throw your towel in the laundry thing. So it kind of worked out. That's what I was trying to set up when I was building the pool earlier. And then this is, again, a reason why you should like never use diagonal walls in The Sims, because it's literally such a mess. I tried adjusting this literally so many times because I did not know what I was doing. I'm trying to build the locker room, but I was like, how do I fit all the things that I need in this really awkward and strange diagonal space? It was a nightmare. I think it worked out pretty well eventually, but oh my god, I have this sped up super fast, but I'm pretty sure I was working on just this locker room for like probably an hour trying to figure out how I'm going to fit all of these things into this space. I would not recommend it at all to anyone ever. Also, I did not do separate locker rooms for men and women, so I don't know. I was like, you know what? It's The Sims. I am working with this weird space. I just don't have room to like split this locker room into 2. So it is a co-ed locker room, and The Sims are just gonna have to get over it. I don't think that The Sims care, so I think it'll probably be fine. But yeah. And I put a sauna in the locker room as well because I was like, you know what? Let's do it. I think that that is something a rec center would have, and that's what we're doing. So here we are. This may be a little weird in terms of design, but I did put the library in this wing that's right next to the sports wing. I know that doesn't really make sense because libraries are supposed to be quiet and sports are probably the least quiet thing that you could do, but I don't think it will be too much of a hassle. There is a buffer room in between them, which is like the daycare room, so hopefully that'll like block out enough sound. But you know what? We will just pretend that the library has some like soundproof walls, like really thick walls that are just stopping it from like being an issue, and we're just gonna pretend like it's fine and we're just gonna move on. The library, most of the other areas I did like different things on each floor, but for the library I made it like a 2-tier library. So there's like all the books and stuff on the bottom floor and then some like computers over here. And then check it out, I did get these custom content Mac computers, like the old school ones, and I love them. They're literally so cute. It really just, it fits the vibe. I feel like it really brings this library back in time, just how I wanted it to. And we do have just one single study table down here, so if you are here to study, you are gonna have to share this table with all of your friends because that's the only option, the only one that you've got. I apologize in advance. I don't really have a lot of lore for the library. It's like just a library. It's probably the least like kid-centric one on the bottom because it's gonna be just like a library where like adults and kids can be. The top floor could also be for adults and kids, but I did put like a bunch of tables where they can do like card games and stuff. I know the point in like Growing Together is like the elderly people are playing like cards and doing puzzles and stuff on these tables. So I made them set up for that. They can do puzzles, they can like play cards, they can do whatever they want. And I did also have this custom content, Hungry Hippos. So cute. Chef's kiss. I love it. It's incredible. I know for like a family friendly or like all ages section, this is not necessarily like the colorful chairs are like a little kid like, but I kind of feel like, you know what, in this era, we loved our bright colors, and I feel like a rec center really embodies somewhere that would have just like very bright colors all the time, everywhere. So I think it's fine. Also, I'm living for how obnoxious and huge these like library decals are. I made it bigger, but it's like so ridiculous and I love it so much. No library is complete without this together poster, so I do think that is required in every library that I'm going to build from here on out. I put it in the library in the high school that I built as well, and I was like, you know what? The together poster, she's coming back. She's coming back. And if you thought that the colors were bright in the library or in the other areas, buckle up, because this is the kid zone, and the kid zone is just extremely colorful, and that's what we're going for. I tried to put items for all different ages out here, so on the indoor part, it's kind of like toddler and infant focused, and then I built a little like fenced in playground out here that the kids can play in, so when they're like children, they can come and play outside. And once again, I did put a little ball cart because I was like obsessed with it for the basketballs, and I was like, I feel like maybe they have one of these for the kid area where they have a bunch of like basketballs, soccer balls, footballs, everything that they can just like come and play with. And they've also got water balloons if they're feeling crazy and it's like a hot summer day. So the kids are really set up in here. The toddlers have a little ball pit, they've got their slide, we've got the infants little like mats to play on, there's some like arts and crafts tables, obviously there's a changing table, and then there's a little gate to like, you know, the parents can come and like pick them up and stuff, and it'll keep the infants and the toddlers like securely inside the room so they don't like escape, you know what toddlers need. It's fine, don't worry about that. And then obviously we had to give them the like rubber play mat outside so they don't like hurt themselves, and top everything off with some very kid-centric posters. I did also have some custom content posters in here. They had like Barbie and like Polly Pocket on them and stuff, and I was like, this is perfect. This is perfection. This is what the kids want in the 90s. I don't think that this is going to be functional, this cafeteria item, but I'm imagining that when you go to a rec center that there maybe would be like a cafeteria where you could buy food, kind of like a food court type deal, but I don't think it's actually going to be functional, so I did go ahead and just put in like a stove and a fridge as well, so that if you're actually playing here and your Sims are like starving, they could actually make themselves food rather than have to like pay for someone to come and work at the cafeteria item, which is probably what you would have to do if you were actually trying to do this. I did use these picnic tables from the toddler pack like I did in the high school that I built, because I feel like they just really work for those like extra long picnic tables that you always see in cafeterias. It's just like, it's such a cafeteria vibe, those like extra long picnic tables. It's perfect and I love it. And then outside we have just like regular picnic tables and then more of the toddler pack ones because they're just really cute. And again, with the primary colors, you know we love some primary colors. It's the 90s. We are living for it. We want everything to be colorful and bright. So that is what we're doing. And we've got red, blue, and yellow all day, every day. That's all you're ever going to see in this build until it gets updated to a different era, because that's just how it is. As I'm going through my Let's Play, I am planning on coming back to this rec center and updating it to be the new era, as I am like with the Sims houses and the Sims clothes and stuff like that. That way when they come and use the rec center, it'll kind of match the era that they're in. So I think that's going to be pretty fun. I don't know if I'll do like videos on updating it. It may just be like part of the Let's Play, but I think it'll be fun to kind of like update it and everything. Now, these rec center signs are modern, but it's literally the only option, so I just had to use them because I did want them to kind of differentiate the spaces and what all they're for and everything. So they're in there, but they're looking very like 2020s, but don't worry about that. It's all good. I did make all the walls and the hallways like obnoxiously yellow just because I thought that that might be fun. So I hope you're loving that as well. And I did want to give like a front desk. I know this isn't going to be functional and I did not put a computer at it because if you actually do, then all the Sims will do is like go sit at that computer and not do anything else every time they go to the rec center. So we didn't put a computer, but it is like a little front desk area. Like we're just pretending like there's a front desk receptionist person that works there and like greets you and you check in, you say what you're there for, you know, you're like, oh, I'm here for my music lesson, and then you like go talk to them and they set you up with all you need, and it's great. It's perfect. I love it. And I did build this little weight room as well off the side of the basketball court. I know I'm building this in like a really weird order, but don't worry. It all gets done in the end. It's very small. It literally just has like treadmills, a couple weight machines, and the little boxing thing because I was like, what more do you really need? And I don't want to like super focus on this weight room because there's other gym stuff that they can do. So that's all they're getting. That's all they're getting for that. Now we're moving on to the art wing, which is the top floor here. I have this like photo studio item that I put in because I thought maybe it could be fun if the Sims come here to take like their family portraits and stuff. Like they go to the rec center to, you know, check in with the front desk, say, hey, we're here for like our family portraits, and then they can come in and like get their portraits done and like have a nice like family picture taken at the rec center. I thought that might be nice. So that is what I ended up doing. And obviously we're putting in, you know, our atrium has to be done. I realized that the one that I had then had a wall just like in the middle of it and it looked stupid, so I changed it. And then this back room here is going to be like the art studio, the art room where the art classes happen and everything for the rec center. I was also just having the best time using these obnoxious fluorescent lights because they're really like, they fit the vibe of like a public place that has these like fluorescent lights just like everywhere, but they're also so dark. Like they don't give off that much light because I think they're supposed to be for like the detective thing, and so they're like so dark, but I had to put a bunch of them, but I think that they really fit the vibe well. So that's they're here to stay. In the art room, I mostly just put like a ton of easels, you know, like they're just here doing art. I did put the mural thing from City Living, so maybe they're like, you know, working on that long term as like a long project or something. But I'm imagining they have just like art classes here, you know, people come here maybe like once or twice a week, they get their art classes in, they're learning to paint, they're doing great. And that's like for the adults. And then for the kids, I put a bunch of these like activity tables that they can come here and do arts and crafts activities at the rec center, like the art wing of the rec center. Obviously for decoration, we've just got a bunch of like canvases. Some are finished, some are not. Peep the Etch-a-Sketch that I also got off of custom content. There was like one pack that I found that had like all sorts of like 90s and early 2000s just like items that everyone will be familiar with if you like lived during that time. So I loved it. I put so much of it in here because I thought it was like super fun. And then for this photo studio, I mean, like really not much is in there. It's literally just the photo thing. And then I turned the rest of this room into just like a bathroom because I decided there wasn't one on this floor. So we're getting a bathroom. I haven't talked about the bathrooms like literally at all because like they're literally bathrooms. I don't know how much there is really to say about them. So I'm just gonna not say a lot and just move on. Just know that they're there. They have access to bathrooms. I realized at this point, like in the build, that I had not put in any chess tables, and in any good Sims community lot, I feel like there's always a chess table, so I decided to just put them like awkwardly in these hallways, and they're just there. I don't know. There's the good view, I guess, while you're playing chess, but they're not in any specific spot really. It's just like in the middle of the hallway. But it's fine. I didn't really know what else to put in the hallway, so I guess just the chess tables are there. And then I am now just putting in a bunch of like artwork and stuff to kind of fill out these hallway spaces. I put a bunch of vending machines, so if your Sims don't feel like going to the cafeteria, they can just grab a quick bite to eat in the vending machine, possibly be crushed, as we know. But honestly, the vending machines are just super nice to put in community lots because I feel like my Sims always just are starving when they go places because they're there for like way longer than they actually need to be. And then if there's not somewhere to eat, then they're just like starving. And the vending machines are a nice way to just like quickly get food. Even though there is a cafeteria at this build, it's not like easy to just like go make food. I was also putting like art stuff on the wall and like art projects and stuff and pretending like it was the things that people had actually made when they came to the rec center for their art lessons. So I think all the artwork here is kind of like, you know, that. And I put in the sad clown because I felt like it needed to be there. There's a sad clown in the rec center that comes with the pack, so I was like, I feel like we should keep that. It seems like it's just part of the story of the town, so I guess the sad clown is just here to stay. He is not going anywhere. Honestly, I kind of struggled with the hallways because I didn't really know what to put in them. I was like, I feel like all of the things that we need for the actual build and for it to be a functional rec center are just in all of these other rooms. And it's such a big lot that I was like, I don't want to like, I don't know what to put. I don't know what else to do. So I just ended up putting some like benches. And again, the chess tables are just in the hallways. But yeah, there's just like some plants, some benches, and that's pretty much it. Now for the outside, I'm going to show you a little bit of what I do here, but not a whole lot because I literally don't want to bore you to tears. Because when I say that this took me a long time, I'm talking like this took me ages. I was at this for so long because I wanted to do some fun pathing and have it like follow along a little path that they could walk around like the entirety of the building and like the lawn. But I wanted there to be gaps in the walkway where they're kind of like little fields, you know, where people can go sit on them like a picnic blanket or something like that, you know? And it just like, it took so long and I don't even know like what I was thinking because I knew it was going to take a long time. And then I realized, oh, I've actually built this with like diagonal walls. So that's making it even harder to figure out where the heck I'm going with this. So basically I just built around the trees. I placed the trees and then built these pathways around them. And then I had to figure out how to connect the pathways to each other. And then just to make my life just a slight bit harder as well, I then decided I'm actually going to do 2 different colors of this brick so that there's a nice like outline around the path. And like while it does look good, it literally made me want to cry the entire time that I was doing it because I was having such a bad time. So I would say all in all, it ends up looking okay, but it's not like my favorite thing in the world. And actually I did end up editing it after I finished recording this video and I went in and like put this in my world. I actually changed the path a little bit. So if you download this off the gallery, you're gonna see a slightly different path than is actually here. But I think the new one that I did, it looks slightly better. Basically, I just connected it a little bit better in the end. So it looks nicer, but enough about that. I put some very slight landscaping in here. I didn't want to make it too over the top with the landscaping. I usually like doing a lot of landscaping, but I had literally been building for so many hours that I was just over it at this point, and I was like, we're putting some trees and some bushes, and that is all we're doing. But I did also want to leave quite a bit of lawn space because I thought maybe people would be coming to the rec center to have like a nice family outing kind of like at the park, and maybe they would sit on the grass and do like lawn games or, you know, have a picnic or something like that. And then for whatever reason, I saved the exterior paint for the very, very end. I did want to make it look 90s, but I didn't exactly know what that meant. So I went with just like a nice brown brick. It took me a really long time to figure out what I wanted, so I'm giving you just a highlight reel here of what I ended up doing. But it's like a light brown or like a tan brick with some just like stucco. And then as we progress in the series and I update this, I'll probably make it like white or just look a lot more modern and update everything to make it look more just like, not futuristic, but just like present day, I guess. But I think it looks pretty good and I'm pretty happy with it. So that is basically the entire thing. So we can do kind of a little overview here and we'll do a walkthrough. So outside of the building, we've got a play area for the children, and then this like pathway thing, which again, I edited a little bit. So if you download it, it'll be slightly different, but it looks pretty cute. Coming in the front, we've got our front desk. And then along this way here, we're going to the music wing. So we've got our practice rooms along the side here. And then in the back is our little performance area with a stage. And then we've got like lockers for the kids to keep their music instruments in. And I'm saying kids, but really like it could be adults too. Like they can be here taking music lessons. I don't know. And then, of course, we've got the pool for San Sequoia Salmons to come and practice their swim team at, and for people to just come, you know, swim. The towel area leading into the locker room. And it's got a, a sauna as well, of course, if you need a little steam after you go swimming or you work out. And then down the hall here, we've got the daycare area. So this inside bit is set up for infants and toddlers, and then the outside has our fun playground with all our playground equipment and stuff for the kids to do. And then further down the hall, we've got the library. So, all the books, all the things. We've got a little computer area over there. And then wrapping around back to the front, around the corner here is the cafeteria where you can pick up some food or make your own food if you want to, with a little patio. And I know I forgot to paint out there. I'm so sorry, I didn't notice, but I have painted it now. And then this is the upstairs of the patio. And then we've got our little photo studio up here, along with our art room where you can take art classes, or if you're a kid, you can come and do your arts and crafts in here. I don't think I mentioned this earlier, but I did put a glass floor in there too, so you can see down. It's kind of fun. And then this is the basketball court. It is just a nice area for people to play their basketball games. And then we've got a little weight room off the basketball court. And then the upstairs of the library, which has just got some puzzle and game tables and room for everyone to hang out. And that is the whole build. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.